Currently employed? Yes. For whom do you work? The Golds. Who are the Golds? They own real estate in New York and elsewhere. How long have you been employed by them? Since 1998. Do the Golds have an office for the transaction of business? Yes. Where? 635 Fifth Avenue, New York. What is your position with the firm? I am a claims asset manager. Do you have someone whom you reported to currently? Yes, the office manager. When you say you work for the Golds, is there a particular company or entity you work for? Let me say my paycheck comes from John Gold Investments, LLC. It's a company set up purely to pay salaries in the firm. On July 28, 2006, were you employed by the Golds? Yes. At that time, what were your duties as a risk manager? If we were served a summons and complaint, if we received a letter from an attorney, if we receive a letter from a tenant, I make sure that it goes to the insurance company. On that date, July 26, 2006, instead of saying that date over and over again, I will say the date of the accident. Who was the president of the company? There are many different entities, and I don't know what title the Golds family holds in the different entities. Do you work for other entities apart from the LLC you just described? All of them, yes. I believe that encompasses all of them. Are any of the Golds alive? Yes. Who is alive? Bob, Janice, and Eric. Do they come to the office? No, sir, not all of them, no. What was Bob's position at the various companies? This is where it gets kind of difficult. I am not asking for a legal definition. Is he a president or vice president? I don't know. Just what is your understanding? Is he in a management role? Yes, he manages 12 companies along with his siblings. You mean his sisters and brothers? Yes. How many properties do the Golds own, would you say, if you know? I would say more than 50. Were all of these properties located in the state of New York? Some of them are located in other states. Of all the properties that they owned, what percentage was in the city? Half of it? 3/4 of it? Something like that? I would estimate 65 to 70% in the city. Is that a rough guess? It's my best estimate. Were you familiar with the property located at 642 West 20th Street in Manhattan? I know it exists. How do you know that? Because it's a part of these buildings that we own. What do you mean by one of those? I think it's 77 Lexington Avenue, LLC, but I wouldn't swear to it. Are you familiar with the property on Lexington Avenue? Just knowing that there is a deed for it, that's all. Did one of the Gold companies on the date of the accident own the property that I just described on 20th Street and Lexington Avenue, if you know? Yes, it did. I saw the deed evidencing ownership. Did there come a time when construction work was being performed at the property in question? Yes. When did the construction work begin at that property? I have no idea. It was a triple net leased property. What does that mean? It means the tenants had total and complete control over that property. Who was the tenant for that property? Pauline's Laundromat. Did the Golds lease the property to Pauline's Laundromat at some time? Yes. Was that pursuant to an agreement in writing? Yes. Have you ever seen a copy of that lease agreement? Yes. When? When we received the summons and complaint that was served on us. Have you seen the pleadings in this case? If you mean the summons and complaint, yes. Is a copy of the triple net lease you mentioned still in your office? Yes. Can you tell me for what purpose, if any, that Gold entered into that triple net lease with Pauline's Laundromat? I guess because Pauline's was willing to pay the rent. Did that have anything to do with the construction work? In other words, did they lease the property out so construction work could begin at that piece of property? I don't know. You would have to read the lease. I show you Plaintiff's Exhibit 4 and ask you whether you recognize it. Yes, I do. What is it? The lease you just mentioned.